Hey YouTube, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Caitlin if you're new here. If you're not, thank you for stopping back by. My channel is all about my journey through personal finance, whether that's budgeting, debt payoff, or savings. So today I am very excited to unveil my January 2022 budget. And that means I get to show you my revamped budget spreadsheet. I definitely put in some work to make this look better and be much more functional for me, having learned a lot about budgeting in 2021. So I will dive in first by showing you my little annual budget thing. So basically I figured out what my expenses per month were gonna look like on a typical month without anything crazy going on. And then I just dragged it over, and that's what I put as my monthly budget. And then that gives me an idea of what the totals are going to be for the year. And I just don't really think I'll be looking at this much else outside of just using it as a tool during my 2022 financial planning. Now that I've already made the plan, I don't think I'm going to be using this very much, but it was kind of cute, so I thought I'd show it off. But other than that, we'll just dive into my January budget spreadsheet. So this is how I plan to spend my money in January. So first off, I just wanted to give you a zoomed out view of what it looks like and how it looks when I am going to be actually using it. So I can see everything in one screen now. I do have a difference column to see the difference between what I budgeted and what I actually spent, rather than last year. A lot of times I just did some conditional formatting to make it red or green if it's over or under, but that doesn't tell me how much over or under. And I think that this difference column will be very useful. And then another difference is I broke out the sinking and savings fund into a separate section so that I could include the beginning and ending balances of my sinking funds, because I think that I didn't do a really great job of tracking how I was spending my sinking funds, and I want to be sure to, one, be more transparent for you guys, but two, just track it better for myself, because I would often be like, oh crap, did I spend out of that? Did I not? How much is supposed to be in this one? And so I just really want to track it a lot more carefully and know exactly what I'm doing with my money. So that is why the sinkings and savings funds are kind of separate. And then I do have a little separate piece for the income. And then again, I do have donuts for the budget breakdown of what I planned to spend versus what actually happened in the month. And so those are like pre-programmed or whatever. So if I put something in there, it will start filling in that one. So very exciting. So now we will zoom in and I will go over my plan for my money in January. So let's do even bigger. Let's make sure you guys can read it. So for housing and utilities in January, I'm looking at $446 for my mortgage. For electricity, I am looking at my half is going to be 100 or less. And I have considered basing that number off of last year's bill, because we've now had a whole year in this house, so we know what the bills look like. So I might do that in future ones, but for now I'm sticking with $100 because that has not done me wrong yet. And then my half of the water bill is going to be $10.50. My half of internet will be $22.50. And my half of the trash bill is $14. And just to be clear, what I mean by my half is I live with my partner. He is wonderful and we split our bills. So it helps me with budgeting so much, because it means that my bills are actually very, very, very affordable. So lucky me. Next up is my phone bill. That is a personal bill that's not split, and it's $37.89. I might see that increase if I start to go back to the office and use my phone more, but for now I have a limited data plan. Next up, we have my auto section. So I have my auto insurance set to $75, which I do have two vehicles. One of them is suspended from the plan right now because I'm getting rid of it. So I'm budgeting $75 for January for just the full coverage on my Jeep. And then for fuel, I'm budgeting $100 for January. That has been getting me a couple of grocery trips, go to see my mom once or twice, and that kind of covers me for the Jeep. And fortunately for me, my office is not asking us to do our hybrid schedule until February now. So fingers crossed I have something more fuel efficient for that. But if not, I'll just increase my fuel budget for February. So we'll see. Next up, I do have my debt section, which if you are a fellow student loan borrower, then you know that the student loan forbearance for COVID got pushed back to May again. So that is very exciting. As you can see, I was ready to budget for paying student loans, but turns out I do not need to. So instead of actually making payments to my loans while they are still in forbearance, I'm just going to put this money into savings, into my M1 spend account where it gets 1% interest, and see if I can rack up a few bucks of interest. It wouldn't hurt. It won't be that much money because I don't have that much going towards debt really, but still worth it for a little bit of interest. And then I have 2 line items in debt right now. So I have student loan savings, and that is my minimum payment, $135. And then the extra payments I had planned were $175. So I'll put both of those into savings. Next up, I have my food budgets, and I am increasing my grocery budget to $200. It's kind of hard to do only $150, and I have been eating a lot of unhealthy, cheap foods that I would like to improve my diet a little bit. So $200 should help with that. And then for restaurants, that is eating out with Trav, maybe going on a date, or seeing my girlfriend. So $50 a month for that should cover, you know, a couple of trips or one nice evening out with Travis. So next up, we have entertainment. This is gonna be the same for this month as it normally is. It is Spotify, Prime, Paramount, Hulu, and podcast for $10, $6, $6, $1.05. So these are typical, they're always there. And entertainment might see changes. It might fluctuate a little bit each month because I might try to plan ahead for, like, if I do a 5K or something like that, I might try to just throw it in the entertainment section and pull it out of miscellaneous just to really plan better for my money. So with that, miscellaneous section includes dog expenses. We have a dog, he is the best thing. So I do BarkBox, so put $35 there. And then for my household budget, so like items like paper towels and stuff like that, I'm putting $75. I'm hoping that I'll come in under budget here and there, but I do like to stock up and buy in bulk, so it can be kind of a hefty expense. So anytime I come under budget, that budget will go into home savings. So it'll work out. Personal spending, I'm putting $100 for January. I have some big plans for my office coming up. I want to buy a new desk and a couch and stuff like that. So I'm hoping I can low spend in January and save that money for my exciting office reno, redecoration, whatever you want to call it. And then for miscellaneous, I have $75 budgeted. $50 was last year's budget, and I went over a lot. So I want to try to stay more in budget, and $75 seems reasonable. Next up, we will talk about my sinking funds and savings. So I have a Roth IRA, and I'm going to put $250 a month towards my Roth IRA. I'm very proud of that because last year was $100 a month, so I'm increasing it by $150 a month. And so while I don't feel ready to try to max it out, I am feeling really good about over doubling what I was previously putting in last year, so that's great. And then for my after-tax brokerage account, I'm going to throw $20 a month in. I didn't put any per month last year. All I did was open it and not touch it again. So $20 a month there. And then for propane, I am putting in $75. That's a little more than last year, but as y'all know, fuel prices are so volatile. So I'm just playing it safe and trying to save a little bit more for propane per year. Next is my home sinking fund. This is going to be home maintenance, renovations, redecoration, whatever is happening in the home is going to be from that. So I want to put a hefty amount there. So $250 a month is going to that. And then for vehicles, it is going to drop when I do buy one, but for now I am saving for a down payment for a car. So $375 for next month. For January, I'm filming this in December, so yeah, that's why I say next month, but I'm talking about January, y'all. All right, so next up is vacations, and as many of you can relate, we took 2 staycations. We stayed home and worked on our house for a week each in 2020 and 2021, and I am over it. I have focused so hard on paying off my Jeep 3 years early, so I feel that I have earned the right to put a little more money towards vacations in 2022. Part of that is actually going to a wedding and being a bridesmaid for a wedding that's out of state and doing a big bachelorette trip. So a huge portion of that is actually just being a good friend. So a lot of it is going to that. And then the other part is going to be a hopefully very nice vacation for me and Travis. So we'll see. But that's going to be $250 for January. My gift sinking fund will be $20, and hopefully it works. Hopefully it's good. Next up is something I am very proud of and very grateful for, is that I have finally made it to a place where I'm comfortable in my financial situation to be able to help my family if needed. I've always made it happen if needed, but I've never been able to budget for it and really plan ahead and like put a significant amount towards it. And so when their emergencies came up and I needed help, it was like very difficult. So now I'm at a place financially where I can put back a little bit of money just in case they need some help. So that is what that $75 is going to be for. And it may not actually ever end up in a sinking fund. I might just spend it each month. It just depends on what's going on. So yeah, But in future videos, I'm really not going to get into detail on what I'm spending it on. So if you see that the sinking fund is not filling up, it's really just a personal family expense. So that's what that's for. And I want to account for it and be honest with you guys. But at the same time, like, my family deserves privacy. So if I do spend it on them, I'm probably not going to be like shouting to the rooftops what it was for. So that's that. And I am just very grateful to be in a place to have that in there. And then for emergencies for myself or my household is $150 a month. Our emergency fund, well, my emergency fund is not that full. So I really want to build it up to get to at least 2 months. So that would be about $3,000. So I'm hoping to get that much in there at least. So $150 a month. Next up, we will talk about, last but not least, I do have a beginning balance and ending balance in the sinking section and a difference of those two columns. So I want to be more transparent and track my sinking funds a lot better. So that's what those are for. So you'll actually get to see what my sinking funds are looking like and see if I'm spending money out of them and things like that. So I think that's beneficial. Last year I really didn't do that. I didn't share it at all. So yeah, it'll be good for me and you guys. So next up, we have my income section. I have room for 3 paychecks and 3 extra income sources. Sometimes I get like Google opinion rewards or do focus group or sell some stuff. So that's going to be the extra income. And then once in a while, I do have 3 paychecks. So I have it there available if I do have it. But for January, we're looking at a 2 paycheck month and I'm looking at bringing in $1,575 per check. I don't know for sure if this is the best guess I could have made, but I'm doing my best here because I don't know what my deductions are going to look like next year. I know that some of them are increasing, some of them I decreased on purpose, and things are just shifting. I got a raise, so I don't know for sure what that's going to look like income-wise, but I think this is a very close guess. So fingers crossed, it's at least a guess that's under and not over so that my budget works. But yeah, so that is what that looks like, and I'll have a difference here as well. And then showing, I do have a balance left over of $5. That's just a little buffer in the checking account. I would like to think I do basically a zero-based budget, but I do not like to not have any like buffer in my checking account. Plus, if I leave $5 a month and there's a month that I went over quite a bit, I can reconcile that with prior months' balances. So I will probably leave that $572 in my checking account each month. We will just have to see how things go. But anyway, that is it for income. And then the last thing is just checking out my little donut over here. We got my budget breakdown. 20% is going to my bills. And then for having a car is going to be 5% debt. I'm only putting 9.8% towards debts in January. And I would say that is going to be a pretty typical thing. I'm typically going to be paying 10-ish% to debt, maybe 15 if I do have a car loan. We'll see how that looks, but I am not putting as nearly as much towards debt as I used to, which is kind of feels good. Like, I feel good being in a place where I'm comfortable not putting $1,000 a month towards debt. So that's very exciting. Food, 7%, 8-ish, almost 8%. And then savings is 46.5%, which actually feels phenomenal. Like, I'm in a place where I can put so much money into savings. Like, that is 46%. What? I mean, like, I know it's not 50%, but it feels like it's really close to 50%. And that's just huge. So I'm feeling really good about that. And yeah, we'll just see how things go. Entertainment's really small amount. Miscellaneous is 9%. And leftover is teeny tiny 0.2%. So that is all I have for you guys. I know it's longer for January's budget with me because I wanted to explain the differences in my spreadsheet now and what things are going to be looking like for me next year. So yeah, that's it. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I hope you have a good morning, noon, or night, whatever it is for you, and I'll catch you in my next video.